So how does one country have so much stake in how our economy functions? Here to help me answer that question and give us some perspective on this whole Dow dive in the state of our economy is our resident financial expert, Stephen Bouchey. Thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
The first question, if we were just talking before, if you were a market masochist, wanted to pop some popcorn, you left watching the markets on, the TV, and you went pop popcorn, you walked back. By the time you sat down and started eating some of that popcorn, the Dow had dropped 1,000 points. How scary is this, and what does this really mean for the larger economy? We thought things were getting better, and that's sort of an indication that maybe not.
Well, that drop was really scary, and if you think back to the early 70s, the sign of victory, the big V, it was a V, and it really scared a lot of people to think that it could happen. You never knew what happened if you weren't watching it at the moment. At the end of the day, the market was down a lot, 350 points. Year to date, the markets are flat. We're still a long way from where we were last March of 2009.
Yeah, the average American, average person out there, of course, just wants to know, though, does this mean the economy's really kind of on the rocks, or what? Is it more complicated than that?
Well, as you started out saying, the economy's actually on good footing. We have jobs getting better, almost 300,000 jobs in April. The months of February and March, we added over 100,000 jobs with the revised numbers. And the economy fundamentally is getting stronger. The recession is officially over. The economy's growing by about 3.2% with the latest numbers. And last but not least, corporate America is earning profits. Not because they're slashing expenses. They've done just about everything they could in that area. They're growing top-line revenue, and that's important. The stock market has been marching since March of 2009 with those statistics in mind, and all of that being said, the stock market's looking at the economy except for what's going on in the last month.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, I want to get into sort of what went wrong, because a lot of the reports are saying that there's sort of an anomaly or some error or problem that happened. There's a number of different theories. One of them is, and of course the SEC and I believe the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the watchdog group, they're investigating what might have happened. First we heard it could have been a trader who typed a B instead of an M. Billion instead of million. Is this possible? Could this happen? Would that have such an effect?
There should be some triggers to protect that from happening. We don't think that's what happened. We think it was more of a computer model, but could it happen? Yes.
Yes, so I mean, that's a little scary. I guess I'll ask the implications of that for the average investor in just a moment, because I think all of this leads up to that question of what this means for someone who maybe has a 401k or some sort of play or some sort of their money into the market. But given that there may be a glitch in the computers, there's really fast trading that can happen. What do they call it? Flash trading, I guess, where you can trade something in the blink of an eye. Computers do it. So is that the problem? There just aren't the safeguards? Computers are running the whole show?
Computers are running the show. Individual investors really don't have a lot of play in the stock market game. The institutional investors, the computer quant models are really driving the share prices. We're just along for the ride, and yesterday was a scary ride. I think they're going to cancel out all of those trades during that time that the market went down and rebounded.
And one of these stocks was Procter & Gamble, and I guess this might have been the tip-off that maybe something wasn't right, because if the economic issues are real, you wouldn't think Procter & Gamble would take a huge hit like that, I would guess. You'd say because Procter & Gamble, they sell the necessities that average people would want. So why would that drop if you're worried about Greek debt crisis, right?
One of the best defensive stocks in the world is P&G, Procter & Gamble. All of their products we use, whether we're going through good times or bad times, for that stock to drop by that much in that short a period of time, we knew something was wrong.
I want to move because one of the big issues here is, we could talk about the markets, but one of the things that really is a problem for the markets, while this happened, and maybe it was a glitch, maybe it was some computer problem, it seems like at the same time there are really some fundamental issues out there, some concerns, especially over in Europe. We've been hearing so much about it. I'm sure maybe the average person at home says, I keep hearing about this Greece thing. What is the Greece debt crisis really all about?
The unknown. What will happen if Greece defaults on its debt? And I've been explaining to my client, think of a grease fire, no pun intended, but it starts in the kitchen, spreads to the house. If it's bad enough, it could spread throughout the neighborhood. This is what's happening. It was a grease fire that was just Greece's problem. Now we're worried about Spain, Ireland, Italy. You have 16 countries that make up the Eurozone. The strong countries are bailing out Greece. They need to. They can't let Greece default. If Greece defaults, those countries that bail them out, and how many other countries, the United States included, hold on the paper that Greece is not able to pay. So everybody gets hurt, and that's the unknown we don't know right now. The best thing that could happen is for Greece to get back on sure footing.
Yeah, and let me add, we were just showing some video of riots that have actually been happening in Greece. Folks just upset, rioting because of the austerity measures, the changes that would come to their pensions and other aspects of their financial lives, because they have to cut something somewhere to get these bailouts, so that way that Greece fire you talk about doesn't expand. Bring me through, if this does start expanding, if there's nothing done, and there's talk of bailout happening through the Eurozone and all that, but I mean, really, this is basically a country that is risking not being able to pay its minimum payments, as if it has credit cards. Like, I'm not able to pay all my credit cards. So a simple way to explain it, perhaps, what happens if, I guess the easy way to put it is there a domino effect that it seemed that you were hinting on, and how does this affect the U.S. and folks here in New York?
In a nutshell, we've seen a lot of corporations where the CEOs cook the books and you never believe the numbers. This is what happened in Greece. You had a government that spent money that nobody knew they were spending, and they're in over their head and they have no way out. With that being said, they're trying to get back and just trying to be solvent, pay that minimum interest. Right now they can't. More than likely, you're going to see some bonds going to default. And the problem is, if Greece can do it, and Greece is just a small country if you think of the entire world, how many other countries may be in that problem? Just look at the debt we have in this country, the United States. We've been saying it's been a great party, it's been a great time, but all of a sudden we're going to wake up and we have to pay back that money that's been borrowed. How are we going to do it?
And I wanted to ask you, because in the U.S., obviously, debt seems to be another issue here as well. Could the U.S. ever default? Is that possible? Because we can just print money here, basically, right? How does that work? There's sort of different risks here if you talk, with experts like yourself.
Well, we're the #1 country in the world. We can print money. We have a lot of mechanisms to use that other countries can't. Hopefully, that won't happen to us. But we don't know. We're in a bad state of affairs as far as our debt goes here, and we have no way of figuring out how we're going to pay it. But all of a sudden, things are going to catch up. Let's just hope that the economy gets better, because that's what we need more than anything else. This country needs to go back to being a leader, not so much in what we led before, but new innovative areas that we don't even know what it is, so that this country continues to be #1, second to none.
To grow that economy, should the leaders here then take note that perhaps Greece is the canary in the coal mine, and that this could spread, and then the U.S. should start tightening now?
I'm praying to God that this president has some smart people around him that are telling him this is why we're being careful, so that what happened to Greece doesn't happen to us. Unfortunately, a lot of other countries in Europe don't have what we have, and now we have to worry about those other countries going down the same path that Greece is going right now.
Okay, a lot of this talk is really sort of doom and gloom, or at least there's a lot of threats out there on the horizon, whether it's the Greek debt crisis, the stock market plunge of 1,000 points, and it's back up to only 350 points down, I believe about 800 points down for the week. And, maybe there's a lot of folks at home who say, 800, 1,000 points, I don't even know what that means. But what they do know is that they don't understand a lot of this stuff. Computer trading that can be so fast in the stock market, debt from countries, and they can't really control it. So should the average investor, if you got a 401k or some sort of connection to the market, what should they be thinking? Is it safe for them to be even a little bit exposed to the stock market?
I think so. I think as long as an investor has a well-diversified portfolio, not 100% invested in the stock market, thought-out portfolio, structured so that you're in U.S. stocks, international stocks, emerging market countries growing double-digit growth compared to our country growing at 3%. And in addition to that, you need to have some fixed income, CDs, bonds, Treasury inflation-protected securities, which right now are a very good thing to put in the portfolio. And then you round it out with some alternative assets like commodities, gold, real estate. You have all of those pieces as part of your puzzle. No matter what happens, you're going to be protected somehow, some way. Doesn't mean you're not going to lose money. I give investors one guarantee. If they're invested properly and they have money invested in all those areas, they're guaranteed to lose money. Maybe for a day, a week, a month, even a year like we've seen. But long term, they should be ahead of the game.
Okay. We like that prognosis. Thank you so much, Stephen Bouchey, financial expert, for stopping by this evening. Thanks.
Okay.